Hey, welcome to Alma House Sound. My name is Dave, and today we're going to talk about connecting your soundboard into an ATEM Mini. So many of us are live streaming today, and we've got the ATEM Mini is the most cost-effective and widely used small platform video mixer and switcher that we can buy. Now there is a less expensive, more feature-rich option called the OC Ghost Stream. I'll link a video up here as well as in the description for the video that I did about that. Now we tried the OC Ghost Stream. It was an amazing product, but the NDI features that I was looking for did not work for what I needed it to do. So we have moved back to the ATEM Mini SDI, but what I want to show you is the pitfall that most people have where they run into running their audio directly into the mic input and not making any necessary changes to get the audio to not distort, crackle, and really just be horrendous. So what I want to do is jump into the ATEM software, which I have connected to my ATEM Mini here. We'll just look at the ATEM software, and then I'll also be running multi-tracks into the X32, which is behind me over here, and that's going to give me multi-track recordings from a church service going into the soundboard, getting the full signal of my live stream mix, my broadcast mix, out of the X32, coming directly into the ATEM Mini, and we can show you how to make yours right. So what I have here is my DAW. This is PreSonus Studio One. This is an old version, but it's the one I use. And we've recorded from our stage into the DAW. So from the X32 into the DAW, I'm now in a virtual sound check environment. And what that means is I have come over to my soundboard and I've come into routing. I've clicked on routing. And here, normally, if I flip this button down here, you'll see that it's set up for AES 50. And that's because my audio normally comes from my digital stage box. That's how I record, but when I go to play, it switches to card inputs. That lets all of my signals come through from the DAW back into the console, and now I can solo my live stream, and I can start to build and craft my live stream without the input of everything going on in the room, or in this case, in my studio. Now what I've got is my signal coming through. I've hit the solo button here on my broadcast mix, and notice where my faders are at. My faders are way down low. I want to go ahead and bring these up to unity. That's where they should be. And this is going to give me a full signal coming through on the soundboard up here. And what we can see is that I'm hitting somewhere in the -6 to maybe -3, depending on the part of the song. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come over and we're going to look at the ATEM software, the ATEM here, but I'm going to put the ATEM software on the computer that's above this, and that way we can go ahead and record what's going on with the settings in here so it doesn't distort and doesn't clip. So when we come into the ATEM software, the first thing that we want to do is come down here to this little wheel that's way down here in the bottom left corner. Let's click on that wheel. We need to go to the audio tab. And when we go to the audio tab, we want to click on General. Once we're at the General area, let's look down here at Analog Audio Inputs. Set mic 1 input, set mic 2 input. This is the default microphone plus plug-in power. If you just plug your console directly into the ATEM Mini and you just hit go, these are the settings and these are not what you want. What we want to do is take a look real quick before we make any changes. I'm going to come down here and click on audio, and let's see the audio coming through. Look how this is just pegged in the red. It's going to sound horrible, it's going to be distorted, and you do not want this. We want our signal to end up being just inside the red. And one way that you could do it is you could turn this gain down. I find that if we turn this down to about -50, it ends up getting kind of close. You can see how that signal is now bouncing around and sitting in there, but it's still a little too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this back up to 0, where it was, and let's go down here again. We're going to make this change. So in the bottom left, we click on the wheel, we come to audio, We click on General, and then the next thing we need to do is come down and click on Line Input. Microphone is going to naturally be boosting the signal. So if I plug this little lavalier mic right into my ATEM, it will have a preamp of some sort to be able to control and gauge the level coming in through this microphone. You're sending a full range signal from a soundboard and cramming it into this little microphone input. Now, in the off chance that we have to use mic 2 as well, I'm going to make the same change at mic 2. Once we've made that change to line input, now we can click on Done, and then we come back here. Now we see the signal is bouncing around. It is better, but it's still not what we want exactly. Now we want to kick this gain back a little bit, and we're looking to see when this signal gets just inside the yellow. Now what I want to do is put this camera actually on my multi-view monitor because it's going to be a little bit easier to see it there. So let's bring you around. All right, so here we can see the signal is better. You can see that it is bouncing around. It's way up at the red, which is not hopefully clipping, but what I'm gonna do is I'm going to turn this gain down. I'm gonna go -3 here. Let's see, click, and let's just click in here, and we'll go to -3, and we'll see what that looks like. -3 is well into the red. Let's try -6. I'm just going in 3 decibel increments. Now when I look at this, I do get way up into the red. What I want to do is just be touching the red. So let's go -9. Now -9 has me sitting at the top of the yellow, does jump into the red. This is the biggest part of our service and song. That feels pretty good to me. Now what I can do is stick some headphones in, into solo this and monitor this. What I have is this monitor that we're looking at has a headphone output on it, and I can just solo it right there with my headphones. So I did confirm by listening to this that this sounds nice and clean. What I am going to do is see, because we live in the life of the loudness wars, I want to see if I can bump this up at all and still keep the signal clean. So I'll put my headphones back on. I'm going to go back up to -6. I tried -7.5. I'm going to live on -8. All right, so after testing this and listening to it, I'm just going to live at -9. And -9 is giving me a full signal coming through the X32, a full signal coming into the ATEM. We're not clipping, we're not peaking, but the next thing I'm going to do is just set this mic 2 to be the same thing. So I'll click in here, I'll do -9. Now the last and final step. All right, now that we've got the settings set in the ATEM Mini software, the last thing we want to do is make sure that this is saved to your machine, but saved to the ATEM Mini as startup. So all we need to do is come up here to the top left and click on File, and then we can say Save Startup State. When we click on that, what's going to happen is it's going to save that so that anytime this ATEM Mini is booted up, you're going to get these settings loaded right onto that ATEM Mini. If you wanted to, you can obviously keep a backup by clicking on File, do Save As, and you can save that onto the machine, whether you want to put that on a thumb drive just as a backup to the backup to the backup, or whatever you need to do. But these settings, setting up the audio coming through the console with your virtual sound check, sending it into the ATEM, switch those audio inputs to line inputs, and then adjust your gain for each input, mic 1 and potentially mic 2, to be an appropriate setting for your mix coming into this device. So hopefully that information gets you into the right place to get your live stream broadcast audio sounding clean and clear to all of your viewers. Now obviously each group is going to be different. Using that virtual sound check is going to be critical to your success. You can do it in a live service, or in a live practice. But having a variety of songs, multi-track recorded, that you can play back and just refine your mix, I mean, that's a great tool in itself, but then you can make sure that your settings are good and clear. So if you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that like button and the subscribe button. If you've got questions, you can leave those in the comments section down below. I'm always answering questions. And if you need one-on-one help, feel free to go down to the description, find my website, and you can fill out the contact card and start a conversation with me outside of YouTube for some one-on-one help. Well, that's it for this video. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.